What is up, everybody? I am back with an interview. I am back with a lovely young lady, interesting young lady, one that's in the writing world, one that's a poet, one that's going to be a interview that you are not going to forget. Promise you that. So the next voice you're going to hear will be from her. So it's on you.
Hey everyone, I'm Black Widow. I'm a spoken word artist from Columbia, Tennessee, also the creator of the Prodigal Poets Poetry Crew, and I'm looking forward to this interview. Thank you for watching.
All right, all right. Since you're from Seatown, Tennessee, what do you know about Mule Day?
Mule Day, I have not been yet, so I just moved here
Okay.
from Franklin in August. So
Okay.
I'm still trying to make new friends out here. Me and the crew are performing at Visions at Sweet Tea Poetess. She has events there, and that's downtown Columbia. Um, I've been to one other poetry event at Buck and Board. I saw Corey. She's with Poetry in the Borough. So hopefully more poetry will be in Columbia. I'm trying to perform at the biker bars and like get everybody excited about poetry in this city.
All right. Well, speaking of poetry, one of the arts that I definitely love, tell us about a couple of poets that you know online. Maybe not know personally, but you follow that their work is motivational or inspiring to you.
Okay. I would say definitely um, Frank Frizzy Sykes. He does the Poets Playground. So
Okay.
he's been very motivational, inspirational. I started performing with him 4 years ago. Um, on Instagram and then started doing virtual events. So I do perform with him at his events that's monthly. Also, another one is, Silence Wordsmith, of course. I love her.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
met her performing. And yeah, we are just like poetry sisters. We're a family. And I just love her so much.
Okay, perfect. So tell us about your style of poetry.
So I say I'm a dark artist. I'm kind of like Edgar Allan Poe Jr. I
Okay.
write mostly about overcoming death, domestic violence, and beating stage 3 breast cancer. I write
Hmm.
about love and loss, strength, and resilience as well.
Okay. Okay.
I've also been called kind of like a gothic poetess.
I like that name. I like that. So, tell me about your first piece of poetry that you actually read in front of somebody.
Okay, so the one that I remember was at Poetry in the Brew. That was at
Mm.
Portland Brew East, and that was
Okay.
probably about 14 years ago. Maybe the first time I hit an open mic with a piece that I had. I know I did some in school, but I just don't recall at the moment because I started writing when I was about 14, 15 years old. Started with a diary and then that evolved to poetry. But that's the first open mic I remember doing. And I really did love it.
All right. So, in the Nashville area, we know this is a growing and budding area for a lot of arts, especially writers and poets here. Now, obviously, Nashville is known for primarily country music, but tell us and tell the audience a little bit about the scene of poetry here. What should they expect if they ever come here, if they want to visit one of the brew houses or places where poetry is being performed?
So, in this area, Nashville, Murfreesboro, East Nashville, these are poetry hubs. I've been doing a calendar, monthly calendar of a lot of the open mics or poetry showcases. I've been doing that for years now, and there's pretty much an open mic every night if you want to hit one. If there's not one, a live event in person, I can tell you where to hit one on Instagram, on Facebook,
Mhm.
on Zoom, or a different virtual outlet. So if you want to hit a show, come out here and I'll let you know what's going on.
Okay, okay. Well, Are you a person that does poetry more so like handwritten, or is it more so typewritten?
I do it all. So I do a lot of
Okay.
handwritten poetry, and then I have Microsoft Word app on my phone, and then I transfer it there, and then I'll transfer it to social media. So usually I'll have three different areas where I'll have the
Mhm.
poem at.
Okay. Well, I want to get into something here, and this is something about me. I'm going to tell you about me. I love titles of stories, poetry. So give the audience a couple of the titles that you absolutely love of the ones that you have created.
So some of my signature pieces are There Are Still Holes in the Walls. That's my domestic violence piece.
Mm,
Disturbed. That piece is about Frankenstein, and how I relate to him, feeling like I was a science experiment with how I overcame beating stage 3 breast cancer. There's
mhm,
also Bewitched. That one's an enchanting, magical piece about witches. And then I have Sapio Feeling. That one's about being attracted to someone's intelligence. And then I have
mm.
Widow in the Dark, and that one's about dreams and nightmares I had about my late husband.
Oh, okay. Wow. Great titles. I want to say that. So bravo to you on that. I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit here, and I want to see if you got it. Do you have a piece of poetry that you want to read? Maybe read a couple of lines or whatever for the audience, so they can kind of get a feel about you and how you write and how you create your poetry.
Yes, I will. You want me to read or perform a piece? Because those are two different things.
Let's see. Let's start a read, and then we may come back with a performance later. Okay.
Okay, so I have my first collection, which is Kaleidoscope, broken
Ooh,
pieces put back together beautifully. And this is
like
my
that.
artwork on the cover. See here. Okay,
Like
so
that.
pick a number from 1 through 100, and I'll read what's on the page.
47.
Let's go. I like to be interactive.
All right. I do too.
Okay, let's see here. What I don't even know what's on this page, so it's a surprise for me.
Okay.
Here we go. It is called What Is. It covers up sadness, gloominess, and depression. It is a tiny beam of light from above that floats slowly down like a glove, like a dove. It gets rid of all the above. Then we know it is love. Hatefulness makes the heart bitter, makes you feel dead even if you're alive. Love opens your heart to the world, sings a pleasant song. When you find love in your heart, the bitterness is gone.
Wow. Wow. I'm impressed. Hey.
Thank you.
So okay. So again, you're very comfortable reading. Some people like me, I'm not as comfortable reading. I can write some things, put it out there, but how do you get into your mental space when you're actually reading or slash performing some of your works?
So just practicing, repetition. I don't have that good of a memory, so the pieces that I have memorized, I have about 5 that I can do by memory. I've practiced
Mhm.
those hundreds of times. So I record it on a voice recording, and then I play it over and over, and I'm just repeating my poem, walking around in the shower, riding in the car with the radio turned up until
Okay.
I got it down where I can perform it by memory. As far as reading in public, I just kept doing it, and I've been doing it for 4 years consistently. And after you do it so much, most poets, they stop getting the nerves. So I don't get the nerves at all anymore. I used to, like, before they call my name to go on stage. And some people, just those nerves are always there, but once you keep doing it, you're natural at it eventually, and you don't get nervous anymore. You get excited. I get a high after I get off stage and people come up to me and they're telling me how they relate to me, and it's just heartwarming.
Okay. So I feel like you got a lot of pieces in a lot of different directions, which is very good. So what I mean is like you got pieces for different times in different people's lives. So like do you have a piece for like dealing with hard times?
Yes, I've written a lot about that, about
Okay.
strength and resilience. And um, let's see. Do you want me to perform one?
If you got one, please do so.
Okay. I will do Disturbed. That piece is about um, getting through um, breast cancer. I was
Mhm.
diagnosed at 34 5 years ago. I'm halfway through my treatments. Um,
Okay.
and so, yeah, I beat stage 3 breast cancer. So
Right.
I wrote this piece about it.
Okay.
It's called Disturbed. Silent raindrops fell like tears outside the castle. I'm aching for you. Whisper away my anxieties. Imagine hearing you in my head. Darkness consumes, fire burning, foggy fumes. Thoughts of a better life cracking through my skin. Experiences I want to have more. They're talking about me, town people knocking at the door, not understanding my needs aren't that demanding. Looking on to a broader life. People try to kill what they do not know, try to bring back alive something that had died. Don't create me, make me feel so real, then turn your scared head. I'm undaunted. I wasn't the one that wanted to be brought back haunted, not like this. Now they wonder about how I act. This isn't what I thought. Can't blame me for how I react. Your experiment was unsuccessfully simulated, still some unconscious flesh not stimulated. This operation not quite like the illustration raised from the dead. There are crevices in my soul that can't be sealed with a kiss. Mended memories of my past remain. This new life is just not right. What others experience is just not the same. Raised up with the tragic lightning, my appearance now very frightening. Who could love such sorrow creatures? With bloody, messy features, just painfully stitched together. Is there someone out there like me? Finding them would calm my fears. Wishing with these franken tears, just hoping and dreaming. Sometimes I'm concerned, will I ever really learn? I'm just a zombie walking, limping to the side, still talking about this strange new world. Inside, internally perturbed, unsettled, and just disturbed.
I want to say I know that's very personal. I know that's came from the heart, the soul of you, and I want to say thank you for definitely sharing that. It's a courageous thing to be able to share some things that you have actually gone through.
Mhm.
And I just want to tell you that whatever you decide to do with that piece or whatever you want to do, maybe you don't want to perform it no more. I think that piece there is for the times that we live in today. So if anybody ever hits you up on social media, maybe in personally, that's dealing with hard times, you got a great example to be able to give them. And I want to say thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much for giving me the space to share my story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's get into some fun facts about you. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready.
All right. So my first question is there like a movie that if it came on TV or maybe a show that you have seen before? We call them reruns, but you every time it comes on, you just have to watch it. Do you have something like that?
Yes, I love like 80s anything. So I'm like into like Back to the Future and Never Ending Story and Star Wars and those come
Okay.
on, I gotta put it on.
Okay. Well, I have several, but I'm gonna tell you this, and you're gonna probably be surprised. One of the movies is Clueless.
I love
I
Clueless as
I
if
have
I ever.
I have no idea why that movie is like on my list of that comes on TV, but
Rolling with the homies.
that's right. I
There's
love.
just so many good things that came out of that movie.
Was Alicia Silverstone and
Mhm.
Stacy
Stacey
Dash
Dash,
and
Brittany Murphy,
Brittany
Paul
Murphy.
Rudd.
Paul,
I've
yeah.
definitely seen that multiple times.
So that's something that obviously I'm just locked in on certain things like that. But going into my next question, is there a book of poetry that you have and that you maybe if you not have no more, but you read before, if you see it again, you just got to read it. Is there something like that in your life?
Oh goodness. Anything Shakespeare or Edgar Allan Poe. They're my
Okay.
poetry heroes. I know that's probably one of your questions, but
No. Well, it kind of was, but I'm glad you asked that because you answered that because I can hear Edgar Allan in you. I can hear it. I can tell that you were definitely inspired by that great artist. And, and you come up with your own style of delivery, your own style of your facial expression, your own style of fashion. So let me ask you this here. I'm just curious. And I was talking to one of my social media friends, and had they saw our thumbnail for this particular
Mhm.
and they were like, you have some of the most interesting people from all walks of life. And that's part of my channel is to do that. So for you, like what should they expect if they go, whoever it is goes to one of your social media pages?
So if you come to Black Widow Poet or Prodigal Poets pages on my Black Widow Poet page, I do a weekly quote on Mondays. I've been doing that for years now. I had start doing quotes, and this poet was like, "You should call them weekly flippant quotes and do them every week." And so I started to do that. So every Monday, you're going to have a weekly quote to motivate you or inspire you or just to make you laugh. Sometimes they're sarcastic, kind of like a funny fortune cookie quote.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to have poetry that I've written. I'll do a picture or a slideshow. Sometimes I'll record a video. I'll post those. I'll also post videos that I've taken and pictures of other events that I go to throughout the month, and also calendar of the events, the flyers. And also, I always share other people's poetry as well. I'm in a lot of poetry groups.
Okay, cool, cool. All right, I'm on. If you watch my channels, I always give my guests a scenario type of question, and I got one for you. So let's say you have a quiet house. Maybe a few raindrops are coming down outside. You don't want to go outside, but you are getting ready to be creative to create some poetry. You said you're going to do this. But first, you want to get a little bit of something to eat. So, what is something that you maybe eat or indulge in before you go into, writing poetry?
I like tacos and wine. You can't go wrong with that.
Tacos and wine.
I
I
make
like
homemade
that.
flour tortillas and I make homemade salsa.
Oh, homemade?
Yes, my grandmother taught me. I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican. So I
Nice,
make
nice.
this week I did green enchiladas that were
Oh,
cheese. I did red enchiladas that were no green enchiladas that were chicken. I did red enchiladas that were cheese. I did Mexican rice and I did salsa. And I still had some homemade flour tortillas left. Me and my mom alternate weeks, so we try never to run out.
oh, nice. Oh, I just love homemade. Like I went to Texas one time, and a friend of mine down there I work with, he was um, he was Puerto Rican, and he was like, "Have you ever had authentic Mexican food?" And I said, "Yeah, I named the place where he said, no, no. We was in we was in Austin, Texas. I'm gonna take you to a place, and I promise you're gonna love it." I said, "Okay." So we drove over there at lunchtime, line out, like 50 people outside. And what he
Yeah.
said was, this is one of the best places in, I think, Round Rock, Texas. We're gonna go up here and get our number, and we're gonna sit and wait. It moves pretty fast, but there's a lot of people. Got in there. I was like, oh, this food looks really good. He was like, okay, what kind of tacos and things that you like? So I named enchilada, whatever. He said, I'm gonna get you the three. It was like a 3-pack or whatever. So it was a corn tortilla, homemade.
Mm.
I didn't know what carne asada was until that day. So with
I
that,
love that.
and then the taco, it was like the chalupa tacos, but it was made authentic. It's not that stuff you get at Taco Bell. It had a hard crispy, and I promise I fell in love there. I said, he said, what you eat, most people eat is Tex-Mex, but it's a huge, absolute huge difference between
Mm,
Tex-Mex and authentic. So I
that's
want to say,
true.
yeah.
That sounds
So,
good.
hmm absolutely. All right. So tell me something good about the competition in Nashville with the Poet Society. What do you love about the competition
Well, there are some slams. I've only been in one slam.
here?
I didn't get past the first round, which I'm glad because I didn't have that many pieces memorized at that point in time. But the
Okay.
poet has spoken, won that slam. He's amazing. He just joined the Prodigal Poets recently as well. Um, so there are, if you want to enter a competition, they're out here. You can perform at them at the slams. You do have to pay money to get in, and then but you win money if you do win. But there's
Okay.
different parameters that you have to follow the rules. And I, with our crew, we don't really like having rules. We like doing what we want to do.
Okay.
And, so we don't do a lot of them. But I enjoy watching my fellow poets that enter. I go and support them.
Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. So I know you've spoken about Shakespeare, spoken about Edgar Allan. Those are obviously artists that have passed away. Are there any artists out there that write poetry that you are, inspired by a current today, like new poets?
Yes. I followed Button Poetry, Rudy Francisco.
Hmm.
Um, he's amazing. Um, who else we got? I'm trying to think of some that are still alive because I love Maya Angelou, but
Hmm. Yeah.
I love her as well. I love Chaucer too. I didn't mention Chaucer. Canterbury Tales.
Hmm.
Um, ones that are there's so many that are alive that I love. I mean, there's been up to 26 members in the Prodigal Poets. Um, Sarah Mingus, Mary Lou Kapnick, Brandon Long. So there's to name a few. Go check out their pages and their poetry.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about you and the projects that you have created. Now, you read from one of your, I guess, your books on poetry that you have, and tell us about that cover that you read from and how you came up with the title, how that book came about.
Yes. So I always wanted to write a poetry book and be a spoken word artist. Um, and I was able to kind of indulge in my passions when COVID hit, when a lot of the pandemic poets came out. I started working from home. So then I started doing the virtual events and then Zooms and then started performing live 4 years ago. And so Kaleidoscope, my first book, I created that 3 years ago now. And that has 83 pieces from when I was 14 up to 26. Um,
Mm,
and my cover art is called Highway to Your Dreams. So this piece
mm,
here is in my living room, and it's a huge, gigantic painting. And so that was actually a sketch. It was on a canvas that my late father-in-law drew, and that was the last thing that he had created. And I was like, I'm gonna paint it. So I painted it, and I added the man. I added that man down there on it.
Okay.
And I wanted that to be my book cover.
Okay.
And I wanted to call it Kaleidoscope: Broken Pieces Put Back Together Beautifully. Because you can be broken and still be beautiful.
Absolutely.
And my second book, called Poets United, that one has my artwork on the cover as well. Both of these are on Amazon worldwide. The second book is an anthology with 51 poets from around the world, and I wrote that with Eric Shellman, and he's amazing wordsmith. He goes by Word Monster. I met him online, and we created that book as well. And then I'm working on my third collection right now that's going to have more art inside and poetry as well.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. So you kind of took my next question a little bit, but just by doing a little bit of research on you, I saw where you were outside and you were painting. So you're also an artist with your hands as well. So tell us about, some of the pieces that you have possibly created, and what do you love? What do you love about actually painting more so than poetry? So
Yes, I recently went to the beach. I love painting on the beach. And you can see here I'm in my art studio. So back here, I actually put handprints, different prints on the wall. Kind of has a Native American feel. Up here, it is chalkboard that you can write on.
okay.
And then in my art studio, I have multiple paintings I did, like this cow behind me.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, what else can
Yep.
you see over here? Over here, no, not over there. On the ceiling, I've actually started painting a mural.
Okay.
So I did teach at Wine and Design in Franklin and Spring Hill, but after COVID, I went to virtual and private events. So teaching art was also a dream job of mine, and that was amazing. So now I do it privately. I do private events, or I do live painting at poetry shows. I'll do art and get on stage and do poetry. The Prodigal Poets recently had a poetry and art birthday party for 13-year-old girls. That was a lot of fun. So I do impressionist acrylic on canvas.
Okay.
Yes,
Nice.
and my artwork is very colorful. And I love painting. It's just really therapeutic and stress relieving, and it's fun.
Okay. Oh, you got a lot of talents there. Okay, a whole lot of talents. That's really cool because sometimes people have a certain niche that what they go with, but I feel like you are very versatile. So you got a lot of things you go to. One day it looks like you could probably be writing some poetry. Next day I want to leave the poetry alone and I'm going to actually start teaching and helping kids. Or then the next day you could be, creating a painting. So I want to say definitely you're very talented and people should definitely follow you, support you, help you, if you need help or you can help other people. So definitely everybody, she has some skills. If you want to learn from her, you can follow her on Facebook, follow her on Instagram, check out her work. Again, thank you for doing that.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's get into another segment I usually do. It's using my rapid fire type of questions. So let me know when you are ready and I can give you a few questions.
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So the first question is, and I want to go, the first thing that comes to your head is pen or pencil?
Pen.
Pen. All right. You reading an audio book or do you like a physical book?
Physical book.
Okay. Performing on virtual or performing in front of live audience?
Live audience.
Okay. Would you rather go to a magic show or hear a comedian?
Oh man, that's hard. I've gone to them both and I love them both.
Okay.
But I'd probably say magic show because at least they're not clowning on me.
Okay. I feel you. I feel you. I love magic too. Uh, Favorite way to travel on a boat or on a plane?
I like both. But I mean planes you're gonna get there faster than a boat. So I'll
Hmm.
say plane.
Plane. Okay. Would you rather write poetry outside or inside?
Outside.
Okay. Would you rather create art on the beach or in the mountains?
Beach. But I've done
Beach.
both. I
Done
went to a
both.
writer's retreat in the mountains too. That was fun.
Oh,
Me and Silence went to Gatlinburg.
oh, so they still have that, right? 'Cause I saw that before.
We went recently to Gatlinburg on a writer's retreat. It was in January of this year. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you had to pick a getaway driver for you out of your writers group, who would it be?
Oh goodness. Getaway driver. I'd say Francesca Kirkpatrick.
Okay.
She would be
Okay.
on top of it.
All right.
But Mary Lou second, because she's a school bus driver now, so she knows her way around.
Okay.
But also Sarah Mingus drives for Lyft. So I have options.
You do have options. The Lyft driver seems interesting because they drive for a living. So that might be a good option there. Okay. All right. If you had one night to speak to any poet that is passed away, and what night would you want to speak to them, and which poet would you want to like during the week, like Monday through Saturday, and then what poet would you want to speak to that's passed away?
I gotta say Poe. He's my
Oh,
ultimate favorite. I will have to talk to Poe.
okay. And then I asked you that question first on purpose. What day would you want to talk to them? What's your favorite day of the week?
My favorite day would be Sunday. Sunday fun day, because I'm always off on Sundays.
Okay. All right. So, what state has the best authentic Mexican food?
Columbia, Tennessee at my house, because that would
Is
be me cooking it.
is that a humble brag? That sounds like a humble brag to me. That does. It's all good
That's
though.
just facts. That's straight facts. Just saying.
Okay. All right. Are you a fan of hot chicken here in Nashville?
I love hot chicken. Hot chicken's everything. If you go to the Po Boys and Poets Verse Therapy, it's on Friday. Last time they had a food truck outside. I can't tell you the name of it right now, but they had hot chicken. It was fire. You can eat hot chicken and watch the poetry show.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So I got a couple more questions for you here. All right. If you got an opportunity to write with a famous actor,
Hmm.
who would that actor be? You got a chance to create a piece with them.
Wow. Stephen King, Quentin Tarantino. They've been coming up
Okay.
with some crazy, mysterious stuff.
Right.
Thrillers.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. So the second part of that question is who, what, who, if you had to create a character for one of your spoken word or poets, and you have to use an actor that's in the world today to be the main character, who would that be?
Oh, for one of my poems?
Hmm.
Hmm. Let's see. I like. Hmm. I love
Got
Johnny
some.
Depp.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I love his style and everything he does. And then the girl that played in Wednesday. Have you seen that TV show?
I have not. Mm-mm.
That was good. I can't think of her name right now.
Okay. I gotta check that out. Okay. Gives me something to watch. All right. So let me ask you, if you do you write with silence or do you write with music? And if so, what songs do you like to write to?
I usually always have the radio playing, so it's playing right now. Some oldies or soft rock is usually what's
Okay.
playing. But I
Okay.
do have my Spotify albums. I have 80s music, or I listen to some Spanish stuff like reggaeton, some rap, hip hop.
Okay.
I have a wide range of music I like.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you this question here. Better actor, Salma Hayek or Jennifer Lopez?
Oh goodness. I love them both. Um, but I'd probably say Jennifer Lopez. I've just seen more of her movies. I've only seen a couple with Selma. So,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I love her music too and dancing. So she's like triple threat.
Okay. Selena Gomez or Eva Mendes?
Hmm. I like them both. Selena Gomez, she does acting too. I just know she sang.
I think she's
She
getting
did it.
ready to star in something.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think she's getting ready. So
I think she did kid stuff.
yes, yes.
Eva, I've seen in a lot of stuff. I love her.
Okay. Celebrity crush.
Oh, I'd say Johnny Depp or Jason Momoa.
Okay, Jason Momoa. I've heard that name, but I'm not really sure.
He's
Let-
Aquaman, the
oh,
Aquaman movie.
okay, okay. That's it. All right, all right, all right. So this is your chance to ask me a question.
Okay, who is your favorite poet right now? A dead one and a live one.
A live one. I like the lady. I can't think of her name right now, but I remember working at the bookstore, and she created one called Milk and Honey. I don't know her name, but I read that at break time at the bookstore. I worked at Books a Million part time,
Okay.
and probably my favorite one that's actually a I like. That's a tough question because I got so many. But it's the I'm gonna probably say Langston Hughes
Okay.
for me. I love Langston stuff, and I feel like if he was in this era today, he would be a huge star. I believe. But I can't think. I'm trying to think. Who's the lady that made the Milk and Honey that it sold out a lot of stuff. She had a black cover book.
Hmm.
I can't think of it right now, but I liked her stuff. So,
Sweet. How many
so if
questions do
anybody,
I get to ask you?
you can you can ask me a couple more.
What's the next project you're working on?
My next project will probably be either my next interview. That'll be one,
Mhm.
and I'm actually working on a novel.
That's exciting. That's awesome.
Yes, I'm working on a novel. It's called. So I got a working title. It's called Last Chance to Celebrate, It's about a man that's going through some hard times in his life. He's trying to be the man for his family, which is and he's got engaged to a young lady that has excelled in her career. She's very popular, got a lot of things going on. So on the day that they get engaged, he proposes to her. The night before she goes to sleep, she tells him that a man needs to die, and it shocks him. Now she's actually pregnant, and then some time goes by, and then something happens. I can't spoil it, and it causes him to make a decision. Should he pursue marrying the woman, or should he not and leave her alone? But she's actually eight when this happens. She's 8 months pregnant with his his child.
Oh,
So he
wow.
has to make a big decision. So yeah, last chance to celebrate because his life is getting ready to change.
She said that someone else has to die.
She said a man has to die.
Who's the man that has to die?
That's the mystery.
See, I want to know more already. Wow, that sounds very interesting.
Yes, yes. But also, I can give you this here. I have a working title called Armor. And it's a collection of my first some of my old short stories. It's four stories. And they all have a segment in my life of things that happened to me. So that's probably going to be my first project that comes out. So it's called Armor. We all created with a certain level of armor, and I'm thinking about adding a new story to that. I'm trying to make it 5 stories, but currently right now it's 4.
Well, I look forward to seeing that.
Okay.
Next question. When you go to a show, what's something you look for, or would you like out of a performer, poet, spoken word artist?
If I go to a show like a poetry, so I would look for delivery, skill. They're actually skill that they're really good at what they do, and I look for story because I like personal things because that's the in-depth thing that comes out. It's usually authentic and it's usually the most entertaining. So if I'm sitting there listening to spoken word, if I'm sitting there listening to you, I'm sipping a pina colada and I'm thinking about, what this artist is talking about, I can really feel their emotions. So I'm like, oh, that's something I'm definitely looking for. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I like that.
All right. You got one more for me?
Yes. If you could go on vacation anywhere in the world, where would it be?
All right. So one of my dream vacations is going to it's an island, okay? And it's called you probably know what it is. It's Barbados. I
Oh,
saw Barbados not just because Rihanna's there, but I saw Barbados as a place I wanted to write my new spy novel one day. Because I know Ian Fleming wrote his in Jamaica
mhm.
with the beautiful terrain and the ocean that looks out, from his patio, and I love that. So I said, obviously James Bond can't be black guy, right? I don't think he ever will be. But I said I have an idea for a possible spy novel. Let's put it in Barbados. I don't think a lot of people have really ventured into Barbados. So I wanted to do that. So I love the scenery. I like the feel of it. And I just wanted to always travel there. So Barbados is my spot.
Definitely. I would love to go there. I love anywhere with an ocean and beach,
Yeah.
tropical.
And that water looks like a painting. It's so blue. It's so smooth. It almost looks like it's 5G. It doesn't even look real sometimes. And I'm like, I can see the fish that's floating around. When the tide goes back out, and I can see the little fish that comes around the coral, and I can see, it just looks peaceful. Those beaches that I saw there. Hopefully, I'm right. Hopefully, they're not. Hopefully, they're peaceful. But one day, that's my on my bucket list. Barbados.
Sounds good. You should do that bucket list. I have one. I only have a couple things left. I've done everything on my bucket list already. I
Okay, you
gotta
might need
add
to.
some more stuff.
Yeah, you might need to extend that. Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to definitely shout out some people that need recognition, shout out your social media page, shout out your books, and know where they can actually find some of your work and material.
Awesome. Thank you. So, y'all can follow me at Black Widow Poet on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Prodigal Poets is on Facebook. We have a couple groups and also Instagram as well. My book, Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
You can get on Amazon worldwide. Also, Poets United on Amazon worldwide. Link is in my bio and on any of my social media pages. I also have multiple anthology books out. I think I'm in 29 now. I have more coming out. If you're interested in an anthology book, let me know. I do have multiple copies that I can sign for you if you want to come to a show in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Columbia area, or I can mail it to you as well. Um, Shout out to the Prodigal Poets, of course. Check out any of them on the page, Prodigal Poets page on Instagram. You can see they'll be linked there. So check out their books, check out their poetry. Also on the calendar, I'll tag different poetry groups. Check out the Galaxy of Poets, like the poet has spoken. Frizzy handles the Poets Playground. We have Spoke, and he's with Nashville Po Boys and Poets. Also, Silence Wordsmith. She's the host of Writers War. We have Matt
Yeah.
Awesome. He hosts a show at France now.
Hmm.
So get with any of them if you want to be a feature at a poetry show, or let me know and I'll let you know what's going on.
All right. Well, I appreciate that so much and appreciate this interview. And this is based on characters. So stay tuned for a lot more from me. I'm going to be dropping some exclusive videos that are not interviews. They'll be coming up. Obviously, I'm writing my novel. So stay tuned. I'll be dropping some updates there. You might see me typing on the keyboard or writing some notes. So definitely follow me there. Obviously, I want to interview. I need people to interview. So please out. I'm going to be dropping more interviews from different people from all walks of life. So if you want to hear an interesting interview from whoever, a submariner or someone that goes out and catches gators in the swamps, or someone who actually was like a magician or whatever. I love to get a magician. Yes. Let me see if I can find a magician. If you're looking for something like that, this is definitely the channel. And again, I want to thank my guest here today. She has dropped some gems. She was the first one to really break out the poetry on me and get me engaged. It makes me want to go right now. And she's just a wonderful person, a great artist, I can tell. And one day I'm gonna have to go out and hear her do her spoken word, so I can feel the ambiance of her words as they come out and they fill up the room full of people that are cheering her on and supporting her. Again, thank you so much for
Thank you.
dropping in and spending a little bit of your time. You could have been doing anything else in this world, but you decided to be able to come here and be able to interview on my channel. I want to say thank you again.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
All right. So this is based on characters, and I'm out, and stay tuned for my next interview and video. Peace.